Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss in this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Colin, and he's selling his Amazon Associates, display advertising, guest posting and affiliate business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Colin. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well, Craig. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you for asking. And I'm looking forward to talking more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It's an Amazon Associates display advertising, guest posting and affiliate business in the technology niche, created in November 2019. The average monthly revenue for the business is $5,241, and it makes an average of $4,976 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 52833 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's have a look at what's included in the sale. We have a domain including all site content and files, 2 additional domains used as 301 redirects, SOPs, and 15 to 20 posts waiting for publication. Okay, Colin, now let's hear from you. Can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, so I've been doing SEO for about 4 or 5 years now, and it all started with building content websites. So, I've been doing it, since I started, ran a number of websites. I do a combination of build, buy, and sell, just based off of what makes sense with, my portfolio and other things going on. So I've, probably worked on a couple dozen content websites.
Okay, interesting. Sounds like you've got quite a bit of experience behind you. And what is your sort of growth strategies for building a business? How do you get started and how do you get it off the ground?
Yeah, I pretty much just drive traffic through SEO. So everything I do is, to grow the site organically through search engines. And a lot of it is just looking at keyword, search volume, competition through tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush, just to see if, my ideas are viable and to see what strategy I should start off with.
And for this business that we have for sale today, did you choose a niche based on previous research, or do you have any particular relationship to this niche?
No particular relationship. I saw that a buddy I knew was selling it before it was making any money. I saw the topics, and I became pretty interested. It's been a niche. The tech niche has been something I've been interested in for a while, and it met, my criteria as far as, risk, as well as the domain name itself. It was quite brandable. So I like those aspects of it.
Okay, that's interesting. Can you give a little more detail about your sort of criteria and sort of what you look for?
Yeah, I'm looking for a site with, solid links and content with a good foundation. I want to make sure that I don't think it's going to be penalized later on. There is room for growth, both in the long run, but also some short-term optimizations.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And with this business, what did the growth look like? So I see you've got multiple monetizations. Did you start off with one and then add the additional monetizations later, or did you sort of start with all at once?
Yeah, so I started monetizing the site with Amazon Affiliate. That's kind of an easy program to get started off with, especially because, it's an easy program to get started off with. And then eventually I started adding display ads, which is the site currently uses AdThrive. And then I also joined some affiliate programs on another network just to diversify revenue a little bit, especially as the site started publishing new content that Amazon Affiliate was not great for. And then the site is listed also as a guest post site, but really just in the last month it made some money from guest posts. So, the earnings from there are pretty insignificant overall. But, the site always gets a ton of requests. It's just when I get these requests, I just ask for a ridiculous amount of money. And if they say yes, that's only when I accept it.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds like a good strategy. And what is the sort of revenue divide between these monetizations?
So with Amazon, I want to say it's about 75 to 80%. AdThrive or display ads probably about 15 to 20%, and then guest posts and the other affiliate network, probably altogether about 5%, so maybe 2 to 3% each.
Okay. So you've done well to grow this business. It seems to have seen substantial growth year on year. Would you attribute that to your sort of the growth strategies that you employed, or was it sort of the global situation have an impact on that as well? Or?
Yeah, I think it's been more through the growth strategies. I haven't seen much of like what I like to call a COVID boost, as some niches get, because it's remained stable like throughout the time that I've had it. And Google Trends shows that a lot of the topics are pretty stable as well. But yeah, I mean, I think, just building out a site with, good content with a good strategy, some good links. So like one of the first things that I did was invested a lot into the content, and I wrote content myself just to facilitate growth.
Okay. And how come is it that you're selling the business right now?
Yeah, so my brother and I are potentially looking to get into a real estate opportunity into kind of like a commercial apartment complex. And so I need to get some cash together to put the down payment on that.
Okay, yeah, that's a very common reason why sellers sell up businesses. Is there anything you've learned from this business that you'll apply to your other sites?
Not too different from my other sites. Like I've just ran so many. I will say that it kind of just reinforces my approach of, continuously publishing quality content and making sure you update it regularly. One thing that I did differently from this site was just take like a slightly different approach from how I do like the product tables. And if you unlock the site, you can see that most sites like will feature like if it's like the 9 best whatever, they'll have like all 9 products in a table. But for this one, I just did a little test where I'm only displaying the top 3 or 5, and I thought it helped conversions.
Interesting. Was there any other sort of testing you've done on the website, maybe with regards to SEO or advertising placements?
No, I mean, I haven't even really done any A/B testing. I really should start to do that more with my sites. So there's a ton of opportunity with this site. This was just more of like a hunch. So I say I feel like it led to more conversions because I don't actually know for certain.
Yeah, I mean, those are some opportunities for a buyer to consider when they acquire the site. Was there anything you tried with this site that didn't work out for you?
Not particularly. I mean, the site I'd say has been a pretty good success. I will say that this site has more informational content actually ranking than a lot of my other sites, which is great because before most of my sites would be dependent on like, the best X, the best Y content for traffic. But this site has a pretty good split among like quote money content and quote informational content, where it's not all just like, traffic going to these Amazon pages. There's traffic going to these informational pages. So I guess one thing that I have done more deliberately with the site is publish more of that informational content. And so I think because of that, that is why I am having more of that informational content ranking.
Yeah, and regarding the content, I see included the sale, you have 15 to 20 quality posts that are in draft, ready for a new buyer.
Yeah, they're all like formatted, they're in topic. All the new buyer has to do is hit publish so that, realistically that amount of content should last them, anywhere from like, 3 to 6 months, depending on how fast they want to publish. That way they can kind of ease into the business.
Yeah, so in how frequently were you publishing content for the site?
It really depends. Like, I think there was like some time where like I didn't publish a lot, and then like other times, I published like, maybe like every day for a week. So it's been kind of like inconsistent. I think now I'm doing like maybe about 2 posts a week, but on average.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the majority of your traffic comes from organic search. Did you ever experiment with any other sort of marketing channels?
No, I think I had like an email sign up list on the site for like a week, and then I decided to just remove some plugins as I optimize more for site speed. So I haven't really experimented with any other traffic strategy.
Okay, well, I guess that leads me into my next question of if you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try and grow it?
Yeah, so definitely continuing with the heavy content approach. 2 posts a week is pretty good. And, for me, maintenance mode, I think is usually like 1 or 2 posts a month. So you should see some growth there. Potentially with all the posts that I have queued up, you could publish those all at once and be good and still not publish for a few months. But, posts take so long to rank that there could be benefits in publishing those as soon as possible. But also one thing that I would do to kind of like get your hands dirty on the on-page SEO is updating older posts, because I haven't done a good job of that. Like, we've just been publishing new content. So I think there would definitely be benefits into actually like optimizing and brushing up old posts that get traffic because of the freshness algorithm, or how content freshness is a factor in Google's algorithm.
Absolutely. Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense. So you've got this business up to a point where it's pretty much hands off for you at the moment. But what are some of the day-to-day tasks that you do on this site for maintenance?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't do a lot because I front-loaded a lot of the keyword research. And so, I have a list of topics, a list of competitors that, I think are really quite relevant to the site. So keyword research is very easy. And then from there, it's just making sure you get content written. I have a VA who helps kind of like send that to the writer, get it written, and then, we'll format and post it. And then I build a few links per month. I should be more involved in the site as far as like I mentioned, like updating older content, I think is a big win. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the day to day, apart from like checking earnings and stuff, managing content, links, and checking earnings.
Okay, and the VA is someone who helps you with your whole portfolio, or are they specifically working for this business?
My whole portfolio.
Okay. And they produce format the content from a writer. I guess is a writer someone who works on your portfolio as well, or is it sort of more of a freelance?
Yeah, it's just a freelance writer, and I'm happy to pass on any of the SOPs that I use. They're pretty well documented as far as like checklists and some videos to the new owner to ensure a smooth transition.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, so they'll be able to bring their own VA on or hire their own one and outsource the general maintenance of the business. That's really good stuff. So what skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who's not familiar with this niche or business model?
Yeah, so I think one, so obviously you need, with some WordPress skills, some basic SEO skills are nice, but nothing complicated. That's one of the nice things about content businesses. As far as someone who's not, familiar with the niche, I'm supplying, a list of keywords, a list of competitors to the new owner so that, they don't really need to know the niche that well. I mean, it's not even a niche that I know that well, right? It's just, using good keyword strategies, which I'm happy to kind of like fill the new owner in on to help them. And then, I mean, the other benefit is, they can kind of see like which posts I have written and queued up, the keywords. And so that's going to give them a lot of insight as far as like, the approach to maintain and grow the site.
Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like you've prepared this business very well for a sale. It'll make it easier for a buyer to acquire the business and take it to the next level. On the flip side, though, what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
The biggest risks, Google updates are always scary for, I think, any website that gets, most of its traffic from SEO. They're hard to predict, one, when they're going to happen, and two, what's going to happen. And then the other one is just, 70 or 80% of the earnings are from Amazon affiliate. That's a risk because the program is not, always kind to its marketers. They've been better the past couple of years than they were like 4 or 5 years ago. But, just having, your income dependent on like one major source for any business, I think is always a risk. Fortunately, it is diversified a little bit where, maybe it's only about 75, 80% of its income from Amazon affiliate. And you have the 3 other sources that bring in some revenue as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, seems most online businesses are subject to the whims of either Amazon or Google. But yeah, like you say, you've diversified the earnings, which should definitely help mitigate that risk a lot. Excellent stuff. So yeah, we've covered a lot of great things today, but to sort of wrap it up in a neat little package, putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I think it's a business worth buying because it has demonstrated earnings. There is a very clear line for growth and a lot of opportunity. Like I said, I haven't done any A/B testing. The niche itself is just so big that it can be, not only help grow the website, but also be monetized in a variety of other ways, just apart from Amazon affiliate.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
it's fairly hands off in that you don't need to, do customer support or anything. It just requires, a few hours a week, and this is even if you don't have a VA, because I spend about half an hour a week on average, if that. So if you don't have, a VA, just a few hours a week and you're pretty set to run the business.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a well set up business. So regarding the sale of the business, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes, definitely.
And how much support are you willing to offer buyers? Are you going for the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
Yeah, at a minimum, depending on the buyer, I could be, if they need it, I could be open to more, such as 4 meetings over 60 days. I do want to make sure that there's a smooth transition, and I do want to help the new owner succeed. So I'm definitely open to providing more support if it's needed.
Excellent. I'm sure a new buyer will really appreciate that extra support. Are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
I am. It's not ideal depending on the terms, because like I mentioned, there is this investment opportunity with my brother, and it might kind of, so getting the cash on hand is important, and there is a timeline with that. So it really just depends on the specifics. It's possible that, that it can be entertained for sure.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
Yes. So the past 2 or 3 weeks of Google Analytics has shown a dip, and I didn't know what the issue was. The dip was actually because of a caching or an optimization plugin that I use. I accidentally set the ad script to deferred loading, so it wasn't tracking all the visitors. Now that that is fixed, the page views in Google Analytics has returned to normal. So for 3 weeks, it looks like there was a massive dip, but you'll see in the past few days, it's come back up again to normal times. And again, it has nothing to do with rankings. It's just because the ad script was being deferred and not shown or loaded for all the visitors.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely good for a potential buyer. No, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, Colin. It's been great talking to you.
Great. Thank you as well.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 52833. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.